Welcome to Import-Export Ventures.
So hello everyone, this is Mo again coming to you live from Dakar, Senegal, the land of Tarangas. And of course we know they are the current holder of the African Cup of Nations. And they did very well in the World Cup because it's hard for an African team to get that far. So basically right now I have with me, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, Jean-Marie Coulbary.
I'm not a
French. Jean-Marie Coulbary.
Yes.
In English, people will call me Jean-Marie Coulbary, but it doesn't sound well. The French pronunciation is Jean-Marie Coulbary.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. I was born French. Mm-hmm. My mother is French Cap-Verdian. My father is from Senegal, Dakar. He was the first chief of protocol of Senegal under President Senghor, and then he became now the dean of the diplomatic corps of Senegal. When I was 10 years old, he was named ambassador of Senegal to the US, and I grew up in the US. I've been living in the US for 40 years. My wife and kids are all Americans born in the US. I started in management of hotels with the Group Accor, one of the biggest hotel groups in the world. Then went on to Hilton and to Ritz-Carlton hotels. From there on, I became a lobbyist 30 years ago, and I've been lobbying ever since. You can check my website after if you have a chance. So I have an office in Paris, France, an office in Dakar, Senegal, and one in Washington, D.C. I've been doing lobbying for 30 years. Now I've diversified this year. I do financing of projects, I do trading of oil, diamond, and gold, and petroleum products, and I do real estate. We own land and real estate properties in Senegal.
Thank you very much. You know, the reason we came with different companies from the United States to Senegal, and the reason we did that is because we see the future, and we see the importance of American companies doing business in Africa. But one of the things that we find is there's so much to do in Senegal. There's so much money here, but most people don't know about it. Most American companies, because I deal with a lot of investors, and anytime you take a project to them, concerning Africa, one of the things that they say is it's safe. What can you talk about? Can you just say something about that?
Well, when you look at Africa being one country for most Americans, they think Africa is one country. They don't look at Africa as 53 countries, number one. Number two, everybody's different. You have Lusophone people that speak Portuguese, you have countries that speak Spanish, you have people that speak English and French. So they don't even know that. They assume everybody speaks English. So half of the countries in Africa speak French. Mm-hmm. So that's a kind of a deal breaker, because they have to come with a translator, or have to come with somebody who can translate for them. And some of the products, most of the products that are sold in Francophone Africa come from France. Mm. So if you sell English products and they don't know the brand, they've never seen it, you have to spend time in marketing and getting your brands to be known. So that's extra cost. English-speaking countries will know Kellogg, Heinz Ketchup, and different American products, Pampers, diapers, and all that. But in Francophone Africa, they know different brands. So you have to work on the branding. Mm-hmm. Number two, the language is another problem. Brochure, website. You have to have two websites when you come to Africa, French and English. That's number two. Number three, you have to read up on the country. You have 5 countries at war, 5 countries that have had coups. So people assume that Africa, if they see a problem in Africa, they assume the whole continent has a problem. But they're countries that are independent, and some are doing better than others. Senegal is one. We just found oil and gas. We have the 5th largest reserves in the world that we're producing this year. Wow. So we're going to triple our budget. But competition is here. We have to work on building the middle class, more training programs and more education for people. A lot of Senegalese live in the US, like Atlanta, New York, Texas, and Washington, D.C. and Seattle. We have a very large community in the US. The largest community, of course, is in Europe, in France, Spain, Portugal, and Italy. That's the largest community. We have millions. We have almost the same population in Senegal, outside of Senegal. So a lot of people are overseas. Now with the oil boom and petroleum and gas, people are going to double, triple their budget. So a lot of oil companies are coming here, businesses and services. So before, our economy was phosphate, peanuts, fishing, tourism. But now with the gas and industry, we're going to have more money to spend on education, healthcare, and training program and services. So now is the moment to come, but still, competition is here. Chinese are here, the Turks are here in big numbers, the Indians are here. You have people that are already on the ground doing import-exports, doing real estate, and doing other businesses, construction too. So you have to come and you have to first of all learn, understand the country. All African countries have different mentality. We don't think alike, we don't act alike, we don't do the things alike. The administration is very different. We don't work like the country, everything, the government takes care of everything. So the government are bids. So for contract bids, you have to be able to work with the government on bids.
Okay.
So there's a system. So before you come, you need people like yourself or other companies to assist them in doing their homework. If you don't do your homework, you will think it's not successful, you will not like it, you will complain about it being so slow. So basically having a good contact on the ground in the US first, doing your homework and learning more about the country and what they need and how they do, getting in touch with people before you come, a week or 2 weeks, and that will help you get a successful trip.
Yeah, because one of the questions that I get and one of the problems that comes up by American investors and American businesses that wants to, kind of connect with the continent is they said they came, and when they came, they were excited to come, but they did not get what they were looking for. I like the point that you talked about. Do your due diligence. Have somebody on the ground. Then when that person on the ground can be able to relate information to you, so that when you come, you don't have to waste your time. That's what I normally tell them. Can you just make a little bit more? Can you just elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I have those questions. A lot of those questions come to us as an international company that brings American companies to Africa.
Well, it's like it's just like the US or France. If you look at France and US, the French companies don't do business like the Americans, and the way they run their corporation, the way the tax structure, the way they run the country, Congress, Senate, whatever, it's not the same as the US. So Africa is the same. So it's doing business in France is not the way you do business in Africa. It's not the way you do business in America. So you basically have to do your due diligence before you come. First of all, to look at like if you sell pharmaceutical. Sorry, if you sell pharmaceutical, you have to know how many pharmaceutical companies are here competing, where they're coming from. Most of them come from India because they're cheap labor, and a lot of products are manufactured just for Africa. So if you're pharmaceutical, you have to do your homework about who's on the ground and who's doing what. So that's pharmaceutical. Now, second of all, you are looking at another type of company where you are in services. How many companies are already here? Look at other companies in different fields. So you've got to do your due diligence and find out what the competition is, who is here, and the price of your products. If you sell Heinz or Pampers or whatever, you have to be able to look at what people are selling for, tax, duty. So they have to be due diligence. You spend a couple of thousands of dollars, not much, but it saves you a lot of time and effort. So that's what you gain for doing your due diligence.
Good. And another question that comes up most of the time is the exchange rates. Like, for example, if a company wants to come and do business in Senegal, but Senegal's currency is safer, they have a problem with that, and they don't. Some investors, they don't understand how how it works. Can you please elaborate on that too?
I think earlier I picked it up. It's that you different products. If you do pastry, if you do mechanics, if you do spare parts, you have to see what the market holds. If the market is too small, and there's not enough people to buy your good. Like McDonald's is not in Senegal. Why is McDonald's not here? The population is 18 million, 20 million. They don't feel like it's going to be worth it to open a McDonald's. Kentucky Fried Chicken is here. They did a survey and they said they should have a Kentucky Fried Chicken in Senegal. So why is Kentucky Fried here, not Taco Bell? Why McDonald's is not here and Burger King is not here? So even in the US, people look at the amount of people and people can afford. Pyramid backwards in Africa, we have the middle class is not big. So we have a small upper class that can afford things like that. So your survey is very important. So you have to basically focus on looking at why companies are here, why they're doing business, and why they pick Senegal. Stability, democracy is the best because we're the most democratic. We never had a military coup. Most countries in Africa have military regime and have military coup. We never had one. So why Senegal? So we are better off than other countries. Exchange rate, we are linked to the euro. So another thing is that we don't have exchange problems like the Naira in Nigeria, like in Ghana and all of those countries. They have a currency problem. We are linked to the euro. So $1, €1 is linked to the CFA francs.
So it kind of makes it easier.
And for people to know that when you come here, it's going to cost you $1. But it's not going to change tomorrow. It's going to be $2, $3, $4. So you have to read up on countries and know. I mean, I'm not asking people to go back to school and get an African diploma, but I'm asking them to just do a couple of hours of reading on countries, population, mentality, religion, corporations that are based here before you come. So all of that doesn't take much time, but you have to be focused. And if you're focused, then you're more successful. And then having a partner on the ground helps too. If you have somebody on the ground, it costs you money, of course, because he's going to ask you a retainer, he's going to ask you to pay expenses. But what it does, it makes you more focused and fine. So it's a debate. Some people want to spend less and then travel more. They want to buy the airline ticket, they want to spend a week or 2 weeks in a hotel, and they will spend $10,000 or $20,000 to go and check things out. Fine. Some people want to work smart. I'd rather spend $2,000 or $3,000, get this due diligence done, or $5,000 before they come. So another thing is, it depends on your policy. I've seen people spend months and weeks, and I've heard people spend $10,000, $15,000, $50,000 and looking for business. But I'm always shocked. I mean, why do they spend $50,000 or $100,000 looking for business? Why don't they pay a couple of thousand for somebody to help them find business? So I'm against this policy, but some big companies have consultants and people that want to travel. So they just want to go 2 or 3 months to Nigeria, Togo, Benin, and spend a month or 2 months and promise the corporation that they're working hard and they're trying to get deals done. But then they get destroyed to Africa because they spend, I heard that today, $50,000 to $100,000 and looking for business. So when you come over and you ask them for $5,000 or $10,000 to get them business, they're like, well, I just spent $50,000 or $100,000 and I got no business. First of all, they must have picked the wrong country. Number 2, the wrong partner. Number 3, they found they should have never gone to that country. They should have gone to another country where their products are needed. So due to lack of due diligence on the ground before leaving, you kind of lose a lot of money.
Just to buttress from what you're saying, a friend of mine too came to me. I asked him to, he has money. He came to me and asked me. I went and asked him. I said, "Are you interested in investing in this specific nation, this specific country?" And he told me, "Oh, I went to this country in Africa. I spent $75,000 or even more to do like business, try to do visibility studies, and nothing happened. And if you can, but in a joking way, he said, if you can give me that $75,000, I can go back." I said, no, well, that's your problem because you did not do just like what you're saying. They never, before leaving the U.S., they never do due diligence. They don't have somebody on the ground. They just left the U.S. and went to that country, which I'm not going to name. And then when they went there, that's when they went and see the roadblocks that they have. Now you spend over $75,000 to bring expatriates from the United States to come and do something that you should have done when you're there. You can pay someone just a little bit of amount of money, and they can do that for you and send that. And some governments, they already have done some visibility studies, so you can go to that branch of the government. If it's agriculture, you go to them, get that information, put your people that you have on the ground, let them do their own work, and then you combine both before you come. But he never did, and as you said, that's what he faced. And some of those investors now, to kind of encourage them to come back to Africa, is kind of a little bit difficult. Why? It's not because of the country, it is because of you. You did not do your due diligence. And so I like the fact that you brought that up. Now, when coming to Africa, I'm seeing so much growth. Like, growth is just, especially in the technology world, infrastructure. These areas are growing exponentially. What are some of the advices that you have for companies that want to partner with those companies here in Africa to do like a joint venture?
Well, it comes out to the same thing, is that before you go to a joint venture, 80% of the corporations are looking for funding. So when you don't know the market, you're kind of like afraid to invest, because you're like, okay, I'm going to invest and do ketchup or diapers, and I'm not going to sell. So if you pay a couple of $1,000s and get the due diligence done, you know how many diapers people buy a day, and if a diaper costs 50 cents. If you ship it for 50 cents, you're not going to sell. Because you have to pay customs and you have to ship it, and you have to pay for storage and facility. So why would you sell a diaper that's sold in Senegal for 50 cents and then say business is not going to work? Of course it's not going to work, but that due diligence has to be done before.
That's true.
Of course the person here is going to ask you a couple of hundreds or a couple of thousands to do that, because what? They have month-to-month bills to pay, like you in the US. Africans have the same priorities. They have kids they have to put to school. So if you ask an African, help me do this due diligence, help me do that, he's going to ask you for a couple of thousand. Now, if you really want to do the deal, you will do it. If you don't really want to do the deal, or you're not sure, don't do it. But the other thing you have to learn is that some people rather travel, and they'll take a loan, borrow money from friends and family, and then come to Africa. Or, I'm not going to keep it Africa, India, go to Asia. And those people I call, they like to travel. They take high risk. They will go and spend 50, 60, 100, 200,000, spend 200 or 300, or get cheated in deals or gold or diamond. But that is not actually what they do for a living. So when you go and you don't do it for a living, you just have to be very careful.
That's true.
Sorry. So anyway, to conclude, I have this little flu. So after a while, my throat will give up. I started this flu yesterday. Sorry about that. But what I want to say to people, all businesses has risk. The US, China, and Europe. Without a good business plan that you have to pay. Most business plan can cost you $5,000 to $10,000. Without a very good business plan, before you leave, do not leave. You have to pay for a good business plan. Number two, without somebody on the ground, do not leave, because the meetings will not be set up and you will waste thousands of dollars waiting in a hotel room to meet people. Do not leave. Finding good bank that's credible is very important, so you can have an account. Looking for a partner, it's somewhere 10 to 20% of people that could be your partner in Africa. The rest are just looking for a job. They're just labor. So you have to take time to find your partner. Some partnership is just getting space for land to do agriculture, or land to put an office, or land to build your factory. Then you tell the person, I'll give you 10-20% equity. And so you can start doing agriculture today. then you have to check if that land belongs to him, if that's his, so you don't have issues later. So legal. So you need legal help to make sure. In any kind, mining, in any gold or petroleum, everything you have to have a good legal advisor to check things out. People have invested in gold, on diamonds, that already the license is fake. So you come with a fake license, then they kick you off.
That's true. That's
And
true.
you're like, what are you doing? So, I'm mining. And they say, well, this doesn't belong to this guy.
That's true.
So without a good lawyer, again, to help you and assist you, a good bank, the bank knows who has money.
That's
Anywhere in the world. When I go to Citibank, I said, who owes money, who is in debt, who? Having good contact with Citibank, they'll tell me, don't deal with this person, he's broke. Don't deal with this person, he owes us millions. His credit card isn't being paid. And just in the US, they'll tell me he owes $500,000 in credit card. So I will not partner with a US partner that has issues and financial problems. But even an African, like myself, going to America, I do due diligence in America to find out if I want to do the deal. So it's not only an African thing. I think it's just a way to do
You know, and you touched on a great point. Yeah. So why you put the water? I want people to know who is talking. It's just not, you're not just talking from the air. Can you give some of the experiences that you've had, like doing business? I like to focus more on the continent because that's like one of the things that I'm China is trying to do, to focus investments in Africa. So can you just give some of your experiences that you've had, when it comes to...
So because my throat giving in, so it'll be the last thing, if you don't mind.
Okay.
I'll just give that experience and then...
Then I will have one question.
Yeah, because my throat is going to give in because I'm not feeling too well.
Okay.
So I do apologize. I'm working out of a flu.
And this actually is a great privilege for me to actually sit with he's a busy man. If you see his phone blowing up all the time, and these are heads of state all around Africa, and so it's a great privilege to have you in this channel, sir. So go ahead, and I have one more question after this, please.
So experience is very simple. People get involved with diamonds, they get cheated, they come and hire me to resolve, put people in jail, get the diamonds back, and they're gone. People go to jail, they bought cars and house, so that money is gone. Put them in jail, kids, wife, So that's one issue, you have to be very careful. When you bring money for gold or trading or petroleum, you have to do your due diligence. So you have to be with anybody who in Africa, you have to do due diligence and you have to be very careful. And then another thing, the past experience is just a lot of phony licensing. So a lot of people spend money with license. So it's very easy to find who this land belongs to. It's very easy for them to find at the mining who that belongs. So people, you have to be careful when you have license in any kind of thing. Now this happens to me all the time, but for me it's very easy. I have a due diligence team and I know lawyers. So most countries, I work with 35 countries in Africa, I easily make a call and check on the person. If it's really a minister, if it's really a business person, if you really have a license. So in 1 or 2 days, I can check on something. On any country, in 35 countries in Africa. So that's my strength. I have 30 years experience, so I can check in that very quickly. So for me now, to be hustle or to lose money is very difficult. Very, very difficult. But that's what the people need me for. Usually people that hire me are people that don't have time to waste. So if you have time to waste, you want to go to vacation, it's fine. You can go and stay a week or a month in a hotel.
Because
I don't mind.
When I came and I called, you said, I like a deal that I can finish up in 1 week, and we're done. It doesn't matter how big or small that deal is. It has to
for
be
me it's 1
week, and we have to finish
because
it.
if I waste too much time on the deal, I cannot afford to pay my bills, and I cannot afford to. In the month is very short, and you have to quickly be able to make a return on your investment.
Yes, and so that's actually the reason. I was like, yes, I gotta, get in contact with my friend here. Then the last question, because I know your throat is giving up on you, and you guys, I'm gonna put his information below, and you're gonna be able to go to his website and see what he has done. What is the advice that you have entrepreneurs and businesses in Africa that want to expand using the American market?
Well, I think that is that it's just when you look at technology or you look in food, I think in agriculture is just getting fertilizer that is cheaper and better, and bio fertilizer for better quality food for people who have less cancer and disease. So if it's agriculture, it's finding a way with small land or arrogant land or land with very little water, how as Israel models and other countries, how do you grow things with less water? How do you grow things that are healthy for you? How do you grow more? Bigger carrots, bigger onions, cucumbers. So how do you get more for that space? So if you do agriculture, you have to do due diligence in American companies that have new technologies in agriculture. In mining, you want to buy lighter equipment, cheaper equipment to do more mining, but less incumbent, less maintenance. A lot of mines it takes too much investment to do mining because equipment costs too much money and spare parts cost money. So I will not invest in heavy equipment. Spare parts cost a lot of money. Everybody knows that's where they make the money is spare parts anyway. So you got to be very careful. Now, last field is manufacturing food. If you manufacture Heinz ketchup for $2 or any kind of brand for $2, you know you can only sell for 50 cents. So you have to find a smaller manufacturer in the US that does the same quality as Heinz. We don't want to use the names, but anyway, same quality as their number one in the US, but that will make it for an example 20 cents or 15 cents. So the manufacturer will manufacture products for African market. Packaging is cheaper, the laboring is cheaper. So you say, well, I'm going to come and sell ketchups in Senegal, but my ketchup is going to be 25 cents a bottle, and I'll be in the number one in ketchup. So being partnered with somebody in the US means that a person has to do the product for the African market. So it means a lot cheaper than the US, because when somebody in the US makes $2,000 a month, an African makes $500. So he has 3 times less.
That's good.
So
That's
how
good.
can you expect him to eat and to buy cars and to buy clothes like you do? It's not worth it. So you have to manufacture things for third world countries where you can sell more. So the Americans have to work on that.
You know, guys, if you can see, I'm not doing a lot of talking because we have someone that has in-depth knowledge about, you know, doing business in Africa. And just like I said, I'm going to put his website, and you can go to his website and look at some of the things that he has done. We are really privileged. I'm really privileged to have this interview with you. I know I told you that that was the last question, but what do you have to say to the investors? Just, you know, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, whatever. What do you have to say investors in America about investing in Africa? Just, you know, like the final word that you can give to them.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad, and I'll be glad to keep in touch. I'll probably, after this interview, I'll probably have to hire somebody to answer those mails or answer those calls, because I travel a lot. I think the final thing I would say to help investors is to first get a good business plan done. Second of all, do your due diligence on the country. Second of all, third of all, get your money right and as survey, research, and analysis on the ground. Number 3, 80% of the people don't have the kind of money you have in America. So make sure your price is right. If your price is right, you have no problem making money. Have a little money for training, so people don't have the same training, and spend time to make sure that they do the quality. But under AGOA, you have standards, the American standards. You can come here right away and produce all goods, from mango juice to maple syrup to all kinds of products you can manufacture for 10 times cheaper in Africa. But you need training, You need to have the quality, the packaging, to be just right for Americans to allow you to sell in the U.S.
And can
market.
you please include that, the last question that I asked you, can you please include that with the diasporans in the United States that wants to, invest in?
Well, it's
Yes,
very
please.
simple, is that you will never make the same amount that you make in the U.S. No way.
Of course.
Because there's less factories. Let's start again from the same thing. A sugar factory or a juice factory. You have hundreds of thousands, millions of them in manufacturing in the US. Competition is rough.
That's true.
You come to Senegal, you find 2 factory companies.
That's true.
2. It doesn't make sense. Or you find 2 ketchup companies.
That's
or
true.
you find 2 mustard companies. Or 2 onion companies. So the guy are here are making tons of money and will discourage you not to come to Africa. So they're telling you not to come. It's not safe. But you will ask them one question. They could be Lebanese, they could be white, or they could be Chinese or Indian. Those are people here. Tell them why don't they go somewhere else to do business. So since it's not safe for you to come to Africa, they should go to Europe or America to do business. But it's not safe, but they're still around.
That's true.
So you have to ask them the question, why are you still around since it's unsafe and it's not good?
That's
so
true.
people have to get the message.
That's true.
Thank
Because a lot of if when you go around, you see most of the businesses are owned by like the Indians, Chinese, and Europeans, and some Americans. So you as diasporans, you already know the culture. You have friends, you have families. Be encouraged to come to Africa. Invest. If 2-3 of diasporans can come together and say, let's invest in this field. It can be agriculture, technology. Some of you have I know so many diasporans that are doing very well. If you can just put yourself together, or even yourself, to come and invest in Africa, I believe you can make a great change. Once more, I'm so happy to have him here, and as you can see, I didn't say that much, because of the in-depth knowledge that our friend here has, when it comes to doing business in Africa. Thank you very much, and we'll come back to you some other time. And just like I said, I'll put his information on there, and you can check him out. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Are you interested in investing in Africa? Here are investment opportunities: energy, construction, information technology, agriculture, healthcare, oil and gas, and education. If you are interested in investing here, feel free to contact us. Subscribe us on YouTube. Don't forget to click the bell icon.